Good evening, good evening. Good to see everybody. It was an amazing night last night. We had, oh my word, like 70 unique people last night at the special event. If you didn't see it, why? Why were you not there? It's kind of rude. Do a free event. You guys don't even show up. What's going on with that? Anyway, many of you did show up. I'm kidding. So we'll have the video posted sometime. I think it's going to be like this weekend is when we'll probably have it posted. If you're wondering why I look so tired or why maybe I look tired, I don't know. I really am tired. I've had nonstop meetings kind of this week, and it was prep for that show, but also prep for this show because I don't know why it's like ridiculous that they coincided on the same week. But yeah, kind of nuts. So in all seriousness, this is probably the biggest news I think any channel has ever done. It's that close. I think it's that close. It's pretty close. It's a big deal. And so we're just going to give it a little bit more time just so some folks, let's see. Let me just double see. Are you guys able to see? Here, let me just scroll down a little bit. Are you guys able to see me okay? Or can you only hear me? Let me know if you can see me. Because it says I'm live. I believe I'm live. But anyway, evening. Hi, guys. So we're going to wait until we have a few more people. Chum for the algorithm. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Josh. See and hear. Cool. Seeable Matt. Fantastic. You guys down in the Gulf states, guys, stay safe. Be careful. I want you guys to be safe. I want you to be careful. And all that. We're doing some different stuff. We want to get a bigger outreach for everybody. I'm going to try and do a better job of sending invites and such, because we're doing some big stuff over the course of the winter time. That's when we don't have a super busy season in the winter time. We're usually not doing we're not usually doing a lot of big projects because it's the winter time. And then you have to pay for heat in uninsulated buildings and all these other crazy things. And so if you like Twice Common Sense REI, it actually unchecks the thumb. Just saying. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. So hit that thing again. But this is going to be a huge announcement. Like I said, I'm going to give it 5 or 10 minutes for everybody to come in. We've got about 45 people in now. Usually we'll get to 60 to 70 folks. But biggest announcement, honestly, in my YouTube career. Now that I've been retired for about 8 months. About 8 months. Now that I've been retired for about 8 months, and I've kind of gotten through, I spent a lot of time the last 6 months that I was working for in my W-2, focusing on, building the company and getting it ready and doing all of these things. It was about about 9 months prior to the sale of it. Then it was about 6 months after the sale of it. I wasn't ready to leave. They were nice enough to make the decision for me. And when I say that, they just gave me basically, quite frankly, a lousy comp package. And I looked at it and I just said, I'm going to kill myself this year and I'm going to make a whole lot less money, or I'm not. And so I talked to my wife and I said, yeah, I'm ready to move on. I don't think I want to do this. Yeah, I know it wasn't me. I don't know why Simon's doing a live right now. Like, why would you do that? That's just rude. I'm kidding. But it's only a 30-minute live. But anyway, this news is going to be far bigger. I promise. Simon's awesome. Does a bunch of them every day. This is big news. But as I looked at it and kind of got caught up over the last 7-8 months, getting caught up on some projects. We're now deep into the jail project. We should be finishing complete rough and then final rough inspection in the next 10 days. And then we make the push, sheetrock, trim outs, kitchens, floors. We make that push. So it's really, really, really big. But we've got that. We've got a 5-unit project. And one of the interesting things as we wait for the room to fill up is I actually walked away from a project today. I was a project that I had under agreement maybe 2 years ago. And there was a problem with the title and no title insurance company would underwrite it. And so we had to let it go because that was too big of a risk. It was too big of a risk to try and do a deal that quite frankly, we couldn't guarantee title on. So That job was just too big of a risk. So based on the risk of that job, oh, guys, make sure you're doing the thumbs up too, if you could. We want to get as many of the folks in here as we possibly can in the first 10 minutes, because then I'm making the big announcement. But I walked away from that project today because I went through it and I just couldn't make the numbers work. This was something where I had, it was one of my really good agents. It was a new seller to me. But because he's usually a net buyer, he's actually some of my biggest competition in the market. Really like the guy, respect him. He's a cool guy. He does a lot of the same projects. We go after a lot of the same properties. So it was just kind of cool to meet him. And I guess everything happens for a reason. But I really wanted to do this deal. In all honesty, I really wanted to do this deal. I spent the last, I met him on Monday night. I met him. So now it's Thursday. And I just told him, I said, I need a couple days due diligence. I said, I'm not really concerned about the price. I said, I think it works, but let me do my couple days of due diligence. I put in the couple days of due diligence, and I was mortified at the numbers I was seeing. It was, when it was all said and done, it was really, at the end of the day, it was really what's called a vanity project. There's guys that like to put names on buildings. There's guys that like to, do such a crazy high-end, elaborate, and financially exorbitant job and they're known for that, right? And so I don't want to be that guy. I'm not that guy. I don't need my names on I don't mean my name on a building. What I'm really focused on is I'm really focused on delivering affordable housing, and I'm really focused on doing buildings that make financial and fiscal sense. So briefly, and when we're almost there, we just got a couple minutes left before I make the big announcement. It was really hard to walk away from a deal that I'd already had under agreement once. Then he did a bunch of planning, had it, and I had it under agreement again with him, and through the agent. And Hyder, where are you going, buddy? Get your butt back here. Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of crazy that we go through this process, and I always thought really highly of him as an investor. I thought he was really, really good. What's really funny is that as I'm doing the due diligence, I'm looking at all the numbers, I'm calling suppliers and asking them, is that really your best price for that product? Because I saw that his budget was pretty high. What's amazing is that after I finished my due diligence at about 3:30 or 4 o'clock today. It was a negative carry. It was a negative carry. For those of you who are newer to real estate investing, that meant that the rents all in were about $10,000 a month, and the mortgage expenses, taxes, and insurance were $12,000, or actually $13,000. It was a negative $3,000 a month carry based on the budget that was going to be needed to complete the building. I still think he's a great investor. I don't know how he got to those numbers, but it just didn't make sense. So when you're looking at a deal like that, it really does make sense to walk away. It's hard to walk away, right? Like, you get your time invested, you get excited about the project, and you're looking at yellow lights, then you're looking at some red lights. And I just got to tell you guys, don't be afraid to walk away. Don't do a bet. Don't think if you handled yourself well. And I can tell you that I had the conversation with the broker, and I said, I'm just really sorry. I don't want you guys to feel like you wasted your time. And I said, so I just want to apologize. I said, she's like, for what? And I said, when I tell somebody I'm going to buy a deal, I buy that deal. I said, I did say I was going to, that I wanted the deal and we were going to put something together, but I just needed to finish my due diligence. I finished my due diligence, and I just said to her, I said, I'm really sorry. I got to walk on this deal. And she said, oh. And I said, I'm really sorry. She goes, so why are you walking on the deal? And I explained to her everything I just explained to you. And she goes, really? I said, yeah. She goes, I don't know him to be that kind of an investor. I go, I'm just sharing with you the numbers, and the numbers don't make sense. It's a negative carry. And while I like it, when agents and tenants walk my properties and they go, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, it does make me feel good because I put a lot of effort into it and curating that experience like we talk about a lot in the course. But who am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? If I had to try and get the market rents in those units that would support that income, they'd be some of the most expensive in that city. If I did that deal, it puts other deals at risk. If I did that deal, it leaves it puts me in a position where I'm writing a check every month to own that property. But worst of all, where's the discipline and where is the honor and integrity of a bank that supports me and just wants me to do good deals? So for that reason, I had to walk on the deal. It hurt. It hurt to walk. I won't lie. It hurt to walk on that deal because I'm not a deal walker kind of guy. But when I started seeing the numbers, you know what? You don't fight the Fed. You don't fight the tape. And so the numbers were what the numbers were. No matter what I squeezed them or what I tried to do and how I tried to make it, no matter what I did, it just couldn't fit. And it wasn't the right deal for me. And so I'm literally sitting in the city planner's office. And I just said, I really appreciate the time that you spent with me. I'm not going to do this deal. And she goes, oh, we're sorry to hear that because we thought you'd be a great one to do this deal. I said, oh, I'm honored. I really appreciate that. But yeah, deal's not for me. And she said, how come? And I said, honestly, I have to stay disciplined. I have to stay disciplined for my bank. I have to stay disciplined for my tenants. I have to stay disciplined for you, the town. She goes, why so? And I said, I can't transform more properties if I do this one. This one just gets my name on a pretty building. And I'm just not, it's just not me, not my thing. So I'm going to bow out. I appreciate all the time that you spent with me. She goes, Matt, anytime. We'd love to see you do the project. We're sad that you're not doing it, but and she said, I completely understand. I said, I thank you for that. So don't be afraid to walk away from deals. But anyway, now we're ready. The big, huge announcement that I think is spectacular is I'm going to show you guys what the big, huge announcement is. Oh, dear heavens. Okay, here we go. Here is what the big announcement is. Before I unveil it, I want to say this. I appreciate you guys in the community. I appreciate how you help each other. I appreciate that you do hard work. I appreciate that you're a part of this community. I appreciate the opportunity where I get to do this on a Thursday night and help people, or feel like I helped people at least. And so got to turn up the volume. Here we go. I'll turn up the volume. Is that the volume? Yeah, that's the volume. There we go. Oh, you got to turn up the volume. Yeah, probably that too. Hey, Jack, it's me. It's not you. So this is the celebration of 10,000 subs. This is something I'd put into work for a while. But I love you guys so much that I bought you a house. Kids, not kidding. I bought this house for one reason and one reason only. We're going to do this house together on the channel. We're going to do this house together on the channel. You know, I hate single family houses. Man, do I hate these things. But this was the best opportunity that I could find to do something with you guys. This is not going to be in the course. This is only going to be us. This is going to be us time. So I bought this house. Yeah, that seems like a horrible idea right now. But here is, this is it. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath house. It is a great little house. Tree-lined street, cool little area. This is the whole lot right here, but this is a 3-bed house. It's 1 bedroom downstairs, 2 bedrooms upstairs. You've got a little garage right here with, for some reason, no driveway. Looks like a shotgun style house. I'm not sure what a shotgun style house is. But I'm going to do this with you guys. So what we're going to do is every single week, There is going to be there's going to be a show every week here, and we're going to talk about I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do with this house. We're going to go in and we're going to vote. We're going to talk about, hey, do we do we gut it to the studs? Do we do a roof? There we go. Straight front to back. There you go. Yep. We're going to talk about everything. I'm going to show you guys a straight shot. That is. Yeah. There you go. There's your straight shot right there. There's your straight shot right at the house. So I'm excited to do this with you guys. I don't know that there's another channel that's done this before. So we like to do cool stuff here. Cause we're the cool kids. But yeah, we're going to do this house and we're going to do it, every week. Shotgun homes are open from front door to back door. So this is not a shotgun home. Yep. There's right behind that front door is a stairwell. Yes. Thank you guys. I appreciate, I'd never heard that term. But yeah, we're going to do this live with you guys. So, we're going to talk about all the design stuff. I'm going to literally, are those wood stairs rotten? Yep, they are. They sure are. They suck. and I'm going to share with you guys every dime that goes into it. You're going to see exactly what I do. Exactly. So, Brett, I agree. I think this will be good. I'm done with dealing with effing lead. Yeah. I understand. But here's the thing that I'm going to need from you guys. I'm going to need you to be consistent for me. I'm going to need you to, if you can't be there on the live, I get it. We all have, some of us have jobs. I'm going to need to make sure, I want to make sure that you're at least watching the video because I want you to be there. That way, when I'm getting your feedback, you know what else is going on. I understand that you can't watch them all live, but I bought you a house. You need to work with me a little bit. I just need that commitment, half hour, 45 minutes a week. We're also going to talk about it on the lives on a weekly basis because we'll have some updates. What's really interesting is I purposefully didn't walk this with you guys. I didn't walk it this morning without you. So I'm literally walking into this house with keys tomorrow. And I have not walked this house before. I've walked it before before I bought it, I walked it for about 20 minutes. But I did not, I didn't do any measuring. I didn't do anything other than that. So we're now going to take a look and see what it takes, if I'm any good at this, fingers crossed. And so it will be new to everybody. Yeah, Wayne, you're exactly right. This is going to be new to everybody. No one's seen any of this stuff. Let me show you actually. Can I get this? How about this? Map. Hold on. Let me see if satellite. There we go. Lot lines. There we go. All right. See, name somebody else that, you weren't, getting action from that bought something for hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend more time with you. This is the property right here. We're going to satellite this. We're going to go in. We're going to go in. That's as far in as we can go. So this is the property right here. It does have a basement. Yep. What's the budget? Well, Rictavius, that's what we're going to do together. No joke. We're going to do that together. We're going to look at the numbers. So, purchase price of this property. So as you guys always hear me talk about, this is team, right? This is team effort. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this. Hold on. I just got to get rid of this screen so I can better concentrate. Yeah, see, that's when you know it's real love. Let me minimize this, maximize this. All right, now we're good. All right, so we are going to do this live with each other. Number one, budget, we're going to figure out with each other. What we're going to do in the property with each other. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And so we're just going to go right through this project together. Tomorrow morning is when I'll be over there. I'm going live. I'm getting you a pumpkin pie in Vegas. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. But we're going to do this live tomorrow. We're going to walk through the property tomorrow morning. Live should be, it's probably going to be about 8 a.m. You guys don't need to be on the live. I just want you to commit to watching it, please. In fact, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just let me know you're in, that we're in this together. I want to see thumbs up. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat that we're in this together, that you guys will commit to just watching the one video a week. That's it. So that way, when we talk about it on Thursday nights, we can actually do. So that is a great question, Late Start Well. So now I'm going to take you through the numbers, but I want to talk about the team first. We always talk about something really important, which is your network is your net worth. Okay. I have amazing people around me, and that's the only reason that they get to stay. Because if you're not amazing, you can be on my competitions team. But really excited on this. This is a deal that I knew nothing about. I didn't hear it through the grapevine. Nothing like that happened. I have an amazing rental agent. She's a newer agent, but she's a rental agent, leasing consultant. She does a lot of my leases. Emma, you've seen her videos on my channel before. You've met her. She's answering phones, and she's talking to people, and she's making phone calls, and she's looking up wholesalers, just like I teach you guys how to do. And she finds a wholesaler, and he has this deal. And the number was a little bit high, and we went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But have you ever heard the saying, you make your money on the buy? It's not all true, but it's a lot true. You can certainly lose your money on the buy, but it's not all about just making the money, right? So the same agent that does my leasing showings, yes, Jack, that's her. Yep, Emma. Fantastic, hard worker. Makes me want to pull out my hair sometimes. In fact, there's Emma right there. Emma K. That's her right there. See, that's her. Emma K. So Emma did a great job. She got me there, and she let me negotiate, which was perfect. That's what my preference is. So we went back and forth. We negotiated, and we got a deal done. And she was the one who got the intro. So I always tell you guys, you dance with the one who brung you. So she was the one who got the commission check. Now, here's what's really funny. They weren't offering a commission. They weren't offering one. And so thank you, Emma. So they weren't offering commission. Is the right thing for me to say, hey, too bad, so sad, they're not offering commission, and you're not going to do a whole lot of work on this other than you found it, but there's not going to be inspections or any of this other stuff. Yeah, too bad, so sad, they're not offering commission, way it goes. Could have done that. Didn't, because it's not the right thing to do. So she got this is her first deal she closed. So congratulations to her. But this is the first deal she closed. And now she's on her journey of, hopefully she'll I don't know why she hasn't brought me a second one yet. This one was 30 days ago. We just closed today. But this is where you build a team. The other thing too is this wholesaler was also a very new wholesaler. Very new wholesaler. Very, very new. This was his first one as well. And there's a reason I used this pinky. He was a tiny guy. Nice kid, hard worker. He created the opportunity. And in creating that opportunity, he got paid. Not very much. He only made a few $1,000. But to him, it was worth it. I actually got him approved with a closing company. So they have a very easy transaction period now. And it all worked. It all worked out until we tried to close today. And then the guy who was selling didn't show up. So Emma had to stay because I had an appointment with the city about this house and another one. So this is a free house to you guys, for you to see and not have to spend any of your own money to see exactly how we do these things. Now, I don't know if we're going to gut it to studs. I don't know all the things we're going to do to this building. That's what we're going to be deciding some of tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. I do have one contractor that's coming at 8:30. So we will probably end the stream by 8:30 because I'll need to speak with him and go through things with him. But I'll be walking this since I closed. I haven't walked this since for 40 minutes. Oh, yeah, that's true. So Emma sat at the table waiting for this guy for 40. Now I sat there for 25, but I couldn't sit any longer because I had to get to my next appointment that was almost 40 minutes away. So I literally walked into that office right when I was, and I hate being late. So I was there right when I needed to be. But we're going to do this. But Emma stayed because she had to get the keys. And so Wealth of Rentals, does it need foundation work? Does it sit on a slab, on a pier, on a beam? You're going to get to see all that tomorrow, because what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tell you much about the house because I've been in it for 20 minutes ever. That's it. I've only been in this house for 20 minutes. So I have not an eidetic memory, but pretty darn close. So I remember everything in my head. I remember the layout. I remember the things that I believe it needs doing. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. So amazing team. That's where you guys need to start building your team, creating relationships, meeting with brokers, creating, leasing brokers like her. Stephen C. Indian Burial Ground? No. What time zone? Eastern. So again, you can catch us in the future. If you gave me the thumbs up, I love it, but you can catch us in the future. But tomorrow is going to be that initial walkthrough for about 30 minutes, 25 to 30. When we go through tomorrow, you guys are going to get to see exactly the type of stuff that I buy. Now, amazing team. Great job, Emma. Thank you so much for doing this. That's why we pay you the big bucks. And we're going to walk this thing. So let's get down to some of the numbers. Will this house be able for us to stay in when we come visit? Yes. So it's a 3-bed, 1 bath. It might be a little bit tight. So let's talk about on the buy, right? Now I'm going to have to go back to that horrible split screen. All right, let me go back to the split screen. Hold on. Here we go. Let me go back to the split screen. Where'd that other window go? Hold on. Technical difficulty. Let's see here. Nope, here. Boom, here. Oh, there we go. See, now we're sharing again. All right, so you guys can see this. Click for more manage layouts. No. All right, we're good. So this is a property. Here's the map site. Here is the lot line site. Do you guys see what this number is right here? Can you see that? If you can see that, tell me what that number is. Can't see it. Okay, let me go like this. Can you see that number? Can you see that number now? Right here. No? Can't see the split screen. Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Stop sharing. We're going to do a represent. Here we go. Share screen. I promise this isn't my first week with a computer. Can you see it now? You good now? Let me know when you're good. Not even enough room for tents. Yeah, not for that many people. Wahoo. Yeah, all right, cool. You see it now. All right. Do you see the price? So can I get it? It won't let me zoom anymore. Can you see the price tag? Split, yes, good. Can you see the price tag? Question: do you tend to pay agents 3% despite you finding the deals, negotiating, etc.? You can see the price tag. Cool. So Dennis knows he can see the price tag. So the price tag says $308,000. 308,000 is what this property can see price. Okay. So it's 308K. Yep. That's what it's here. Road. Street view. Here we go. $308,000 for this house. 308 grand. Yes, sir. Stephen C. You got it. 308. Yep. Kyle Dorn, you got it. 308. The house is $308,000. That house is 308 grand. All right. Now I'm going to stop sharing. Stop sharing. There we go. Oh, here we go. Yep. There we go. All right. So $308,000. That is what the Zestimate is, right? How much can we rely on a Zestimate? Maybe a little bit, but not a lot of it. So $308,000. Now, first opportunity to start your guesses. Get ready. Get set. Tell me what I paid for the building. For us. Tell me what we paid. I'll give you guys a few seconds to load up that chat with a bunch of numbers. 256, 140. Ramon, man, you really do. You think I'm the man. Good for you, Ramon. 260, 110, 189, 170, 120, 142, 156, 195, 149, 125. Damn, you guys think I'm really good at this. Those numbers are awesome. 137. Whew, free. Jack, I appreciate that. Yeah. It was 3 pumpkin pies and a sub to be named later. All right. You guys have finished all your guesses. All right. So let's see here. Wayne Wong was the closest. So bought this for $153K. $153,000 is what we bought this for. Yep. 153 grand. So there's a combination of things there. We certainly negotiated the price down. We were happy with where we ended up from a price perspective. That was smart of Emma, the agent, to let me negotiate it. Wayne crushed it. You're at 149. And so you're the closest without going over. Price is right rules. But yeah, 153 and change. Wow, needs a ton of work inside. Well, yeah. I mean, if it were retail ready, so this is the purpose of the course, right? If it were retail ready, it'd be on the market for at least close to these estimate, 299, 315, maybe 289, maybe 319, if it were retail ready, not retail ready. So what we have to do, old REI guy, yeah, no inspections. Don't recommend that for you, but that's okay for me. And so do as I teach, not as I do. Why? Because I'm done 113 unit walkthroughs or more. No, 100, like 200 and I don't know. It's a lot. So yeah, when you get to 50, you'll probably know this stuff. If you're a contractor like Frank, you probably know that stuff. You bring in a couple of buddies. Hey, take a look at the furnace. Hey, take a look at this. And you do it that way. So when we go through this building, it's all on the table. We're going to literally walk through the building and we're going to look at everything. Now, in the first 30 minutes, we're probably not going to accomplish that. We're just going to accomplish, here's the floor plan. Here's some of the ideas that I have of some of the things that I'm going to do in the unit. I can tell you, I remember it being super dirty. I can tell you that it was super dirty. And yeah, kind of gross. It's kind of gross, but we're going to walk through it together. But yeah, 153,000 and, yeah, plus a commission check. Just got here. Are we asking Matt for money? I want $1 million. So close, Michelle. Michelle, I love you so much. I bought us a house that we're going to rehab together. No joke. All of us. Do you hide an extra iPhone in your beard? I do not, because I don't even have an iPhone. See? I only carry Androids. That's it. I will never have an iPhone. Nope. Probably asbestos and lead pipes. Possible. But I think you're going to be surprised there. Estimated rents. Great question. So Dion, I saw asked a little bit earlier on, what's the plan with the building? So the plan with the building is most likely, I didn't do the voice, $1 million. We are not going, likely it's going to be a flip. I hate flips, but we're going to do it anyway. I don't think the numbers will justify itself. So if we're at 153, I'm guessing, just guessing, all in the budget, I think we can be at 75, 80,000 bucks. I think we can be 75 to 80,000 bucks. That means if we're buying at 250 at 153, we'll call it, well, you know what? Just for rounding error's sake, we'll call it 77, which means 230. 230. Yeah. Chris Culp, 308. Yep. 308 is the street price on Zestimate. So maybe it's lower, maybe it's higher. Guess what? We're going to see in the springtime. We're going to see. So good funny face, Josh Burdick on the laughing. Is it possible to 1031 it to something that is more of your liking? Absolutely. Yep. It definitely is. It definitely is. And in fact, I bought this with 1031 funds. So if I sell it, it's going to be a 1031 into the next project. If I don't sell it and I just decide to rent it, then I would get a renter in there and then figure out exactly, where my 70% loan to value ratio is. Number one. Number two is then figure out, okay, do I rent this thing out and at $2,500, does it make sense? Because then I'm going to want to refinance it, but I need to make sure that I'm making at least 20% on my money. So guys, we're going to do all of this stuff together, literally everything. All of this decision-making stuff is all the same. Joe Aiello, planning on leveling my small lot in New Hampshire, getting it surveyed, just moved some high deposits of land and tree stumps. Very cool. Michelle, she's got the tubs covered. Good. Would I need special permits to grade the lot level? No, not typically. The only time I talked to the town about that first, because depending on the town in New Hampshire, they actually consider that, because that could create a storm water problem and a drainage problem. So I always at least have the conversation with them. That way, if they say, yeah, if you're going to do anything big like that for a driveway and for a lot, we actually want to see what your water plan is, your water management plan. So yeah, so I would do that. Why aren't we starting now? The suspense is killing me. Only because it's 9:30 at night and I don't have the keys yet. The agent, Emma, is going to drop them off there in the morning. And so, because I couldn't wait around any longer to get the keys. Give me just 1 second. I just want to make sure this isn't an emergency. No, it's not an emergency. Okay, good. It's from my PM. So I was like, oh no, what's the problem? Yeah, I know, no excuses. I can't do it in the dark. Because as good as the Android is, and I can show some stuff, I don't want that to be how I get introduced to the neighbors. There's a guy in the house next door. Never seen him before. Crap. Not that that's ever happened before. It actually has. So what other questions do you guys have? For those of you who might not be able to be here in the morning, what are the things that we're going to be looking through when we're going through this house? What's the stuff we're going to be trying to observe, figure out exactly what's going on? So we know our cost basis is 153. We know that we're going to try and keep the budget around $77,000. If you believe the ARV, which is $308,000, that means we stand to make $78,000 minus fees, blah, blah, blah. But then it would just have to roll into another 1031. So the question will be, when we're done and we have 230 into it, here's what the question is. Maybe if we have 230 into it and it's worth, let's say 310 is $93,000 off of 310. So that puts us at, so the way that you figure out the math real quick is you take the 310,000 and what's 70% of 310. So it's $31,000 times 3 is $93,000. So 310 minus $93,000 is $217,000. So maybe we're into this thing for 230, but 70% loan to value, I can get 213. Get this. If I pull all that money out, is that taxable? Question for the group. If I pull that money out, is that taxable? Waiting to see the bones of the house. Yeah, me too. I'll show you all the bones. Yep. Foundation, framing, roof, or windows first. Yep. We'll take a look at the foundation. We'll then take a look at the framing. You guys, this is going to be some stuff you aren't used to. So John Williams, that's right. Good job, guys. So For all of you who said no, that's the correct answer. That's not taxable. Why? Because I'm not making income. I'm borrowing just like a rich person does, and they borrow against their stocks. I'm borrowing against the house. Their stocks are an asset that the bank gives them a loan on. This house is an asset that the bank lets me borrow against with a mortgage. So we could get to $300,000 or $310,000. Let's say that's what it appraises for. 70% of that I get back as the mortgage because I need a 70% loan to value ratio on the 310. I get the 70% loan to value. That means that it's $93,000 off of the 310. That's 30% off of that number because it's 31,000 times 3 because it's 10% for each 31,000. That's 93,000. That brings us down to 217,000. 217 is what that brings us down to. So if we have 230 into it, which is the $77,000 budget, so that means we get 213 of our 230,000 back, which means I'll have a mortgage, but I'll only have left behind $13,000 in that. This is basically a burr. Now here's the issue. Am I better off borrowing that money? So here's what I would do to adjust things now. If I believe that property is really worth $310 and we bought it at $153, previously I said the budget should be $77,000, and that gets us to that gets 77,000 plus the 153 gets us to 230. Okay. So now we're at $230,000, but now I know the number is 217 if it appraises for 310. None of these numbers are going to be perfect, but we're ballparking things. So that means in all likelihood, I'm going to cut the budget. I'm going to cut the budget from 77 to where it matches at the 217 number. So that means I need to take $13,000 off the budget. So we've already had a budget reduction. I knew it was going to happen. See how quickly this went to hell. So that means that we've now not got $77,000. We're now taking 13 grand off of that. We now have $64,000. So this is what we do over the next couple of weeks. We have $64K. And over the next few weeks, we're going to take that $64,000 and we're going to start getting quotes on all the things that we want done. There's some stuff that we're going to do to this property that I would never do to another property because it's what's needed at the property to make it its best. So we're going to go through it tomorrow. We're going to look at, I know it's got a lot of natural wood floors. I'm really excited about that. That's okay, Ninja Vanish. Good to have you here. And so, yeah, now we're in a position where we're going to do a house and you guys are going to get to see that every single, was there a super chat that I missed? I'm sorry. Oh yeah, that was Josh Burdix. Thanks, Josh. We're going to go through it together. We're going to go through the project together. Once a week, we'll be there. We'll walk through, hey, this is what we're looking at. This is what's going to get done. You're going to see exactly how we deal with stuff, exactly how we deal with stuff. 3 days in a row with a bearded wonder. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. I literally said to my wife tonight, I go, dude, I said, babe, I didn't call my wife, dude. I said, babe, I am exhausted. I am fried. It's been a long week. But we finally got this deal done. I'm so super excited to do this with you guys. That's why this is seriously the biggest news ever, is because literally I bought a house for us to do together. And so, because I wanted to continue to give back to the community, give you something I thought was going to be valuable. If you find what we're doing here was really valuable, guess what? There's a course where we teach that in depth, and then we do all the boot camps and all the other stuff where we form better community. But we'll see if we're any good at this. So does it sell? So here's all the risk factors, right? That's all the fun. Those are all the fun numbers. Here's the risks. In the springtime, we could be in recession. We might not have a buyer. The number might not be 310. It might be 275. It's impossible to know. This is why time is of the essence. The challenge is I also did this because we're going to use this project to try out new contractors. I don't recommend that for you guys yet. But we're going to try this out with some new contractors, see if they do a good job. We'll see if we like the work that they do. Based on those things, we'll then get a better understanding of, yeah, this is somebody we want to use in other parts of our business, or it's not. PTO for life. Hey, thanks for the $5, PTO for life. Good to see you guys. Which one is better, blown-in insulation in the attic or rolled insulation? Neither. The better insulation option in the attic is, so there's the floor that the attic sits on, right? That's the ceiling of the room below it, right? And then there's the floor of the attic. If you put insulation blown in here, then you have something called unconditioned space. The space above that, so that air space between here and the roof peak, that's unconditioned space. That means that you can't really store things that are perishable up there or things that are affected by cold. It hurts you in a number of ways. What I typically like to do is I like to get the price for the blown-in insulation, but I also like to get the price for open cell foam or a combination of closed cell and open cell. That's the first quote that I get. The reason why is the closed cell is 1 inch. And when they spray that on, that stops all the air movement there. And you still have your eaves at the bottom, but you want to stop all that. You want conditioned space there at the top. That's the first thing. Second thing, they then spray on top of it, they'll spray open cell foam. When they're spraying the open cell foam, that has a lower R value. That's the insulation quality. So for closed cell foam, it's what's called R7. In most ceilings or in most attics, you need R30 to R38. When you're spraying 1 inch of closed cell foam, that's R7. When you then spray 5 inches of open cell foam, that has an R value of about 4.5. So if you have a 2x8 joist, you can do 1 inch of closed cell and then 5 inches of the open cell, depending on what your code is. You can also, depending on what your code is, you can get 1 inch of closed and then 4 inches of open cell. So here's why I don't like blown-in insulation. Blown-in insulation is a house where rats and mice and chipmunks and all that crap that when they find a way in your house, they absolutely wreak havoc. They can die in there and then stink. It's just they make nests in there. I do not like clothes. I do not like at all the cellulose option. Don't like it. The issue is that even with faced insulation or bats of insulation with the paper face on them, again, they eat that stuff. They nest in that stuff. They rip pieces of it out and put it other places in your house, and they make nests in it. Yuck, gross. The closed cell foam, they can't eat. The open cell foam, I've not seen them eat it in the past, especially when it's not on the flat line, when it's on the roof peak. Guess what? What are they doing up there? They're not. That's the beauty. If you ever end up with some issue in your attic, now you're putting down traps. You're able to put down traps. They're going to snap, snap, snap. And those mices and ratties are going to be, and sometimes squirrels, they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone. So the key to that strategy is paper, they'll still rip it apart and make nests. Cellulose, they will literally live in it and nest in it. And you can actually go up into your attic and then it makes the space unusable. They have to put so much thickness of that on. Guess what? When they put all that thickness on, it makes the attic unusable. You can't use it for anything else. It's just unconditioned space. So what I want is I want some of that storage. I might not have a basement. I might be on a slab. Don't love it. Don't love it. So I might have a basement, true, but it might be New England basement, like this basement, and get wet. This basement gets wet. I'm sure it gets wet. I don't know that it gets wet, but I'll bet you anything it gets wet. I'm sure we will see some moisture in that basement. So that's where it's critical that you're either doing some combination of closed cell and open cell, because closed cell costs about 4 times the price of open cell, 3 to 4. The other option that you have is something called rock wool. Rock wool is literally lava spun into strands and then compacted. And that can give you any R value anywhere from, I think it's the lowest is 3 and they go all the way up to 38, I think is the high one. But you can stick those bats and you can actually do that job yourself. Just wear a mask, wear gloves, wear a long sleeve shirt. And it's not fiberglass. You'll still get a little bit itchy. But if you just wear that longer stuff, use the dishwasher gloves that bring you up to here. And like I said, something long there and then just something on your face. But you can take those bat pieces and you can literally pressure fit them into spots. You use a special serrated cutting knife. It's like a saw to actually get them to size, and you push that up in. You would be surprised that the cost, you can do that one yourself a lot easier than you can do the other two. It might be a little bit more expensive, but now you've just created more value in your property because now you have conditioned space in the attic, which gives you additional storage that they previously hadn't considered. Big win. So PTO for life, let me know if that was helpful. Summertime Santa. ISIS, a computer required to access the course, or can you do it on an Android phone? No, you can do it on an Android phone. The course, for sure. Yep. It's and the reason you can is because it's hosted on Mighty Networks, and you can do it on, it's web-based, and so it doesn't matter if you're a Mac or an Android. That was kind of the point. Mac, Android, or Windows, heaven forbid. I have a Windows-based cellular device. Jack Stewart, oh, Matt, I keep forgetting to ask, when you use the ceiling tile as a backsplash, do you trim off the bottom? Great question. You can. Those tracks are super expensive. You can also use like a tile, the ones that you buy for a tile wall or tile shower. You can use those. What we like to do is we like a nice clean line. And so we will just do a beading of clear caulking right along that line. And then you're good. Nothing falls back there. You still have it sealed off. And it actually then eliminates any other distraction for the eye. It literally comes right down and dies right into the counter. So it looks pretty good. Let's see. Chip Howard, next man is going to say, buy a house to turn into a short-term rental. I will not say that, but that's funny, Chip. I don't need another job. Jason Calcebetta. All my contractors are new contractors. Ooh, that's awful. Well, we're going to show you some good contractors, I think. I've been through them, guys. That's the way it goes. You know, I had the same plumber for 18 or 19 years. He doesn't do a whole lot more for me. It's too bad. It was just one of those things where it was just like, I felt like it was time for us to both kind of move on. Let's see. Let me look up real quick for you what year that house is. I want to say it's a 30s, but I'm not positive. It might be before the 30s. Give me just 1 second here. Let's see. It is. I'm not going to share the screen with you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys are in for a treat. This house was built in 1900. 1900. That's when this was built. Oh my heavens. 1900. You guys are in for such a treat. That means we're talking about rough sawn timber. 1918. Yep. 1900. 1900 flat. 1900 even. That's when this one was built. Press that like button, people. Thank you, Senya. I appreciate that. If you haven't pressed the like button, what is going on? Rictavius, great question. I agree. Late start wealth. How would you handle a 4-1 truss roof with blown insulation where there is no attic like we have here in Florida? That's a good question. So, I think that I'd probably still use the solutions that I talked about, because you can still pack in, you can still use strapping to keep stuff in, but I'm probably not the right person to answer that question. Yeah, probably not the right one to answer that one because I don't know anything in Florida. I know the roofing process is very different. It's very, very different to roof in Florida. I have a roofer that's from Florida, and he's like, I came up here because it's so much easier to do roofs. Down in Florida, it's kind of brutal because all the wind blown. Robert, how do you keep the rock wall in? Staple it in? Robert, good question. No, you can use, usually it pressure fits between the joists because you can get it in 16 on center, 24 on center. And usually you're not wider than 24 on center, but let's say you're 36. Well, in that case, you would just take a piece and just cut the end off and still pressure fit it this way. The other way that you can do it as well is you can add maybe a joist inside just as a holding place. But if we have the joists there, we actually will still put a strapping on there. A lot of times it's not wood strapping. We can just use like a nylon strapping that will actually keep it in place because it doesn't sag. It's pressure fit. Weather doesn't affect it. And so we'll still, just for safety's sake, just for, mine's sake, we'll usually use some sort of like a nylon strapping. Yep. Let's see. Mrs. White Lady. I love that you're on here too, Jeff. Very cool. Robert, how do you keep the wrong? I listen to the course while I'm at work. That's good. I love that. How old is this house? 1900. Well, I am just starting. Yeah, Jason, totally agree. Yep. Yeah, you're newer. Your workers are going to be newer, but that's where you weed things out. It might take you, takes a lot of kissing frogs to find the right prints. And believe it or not, contractors are princes when they're good. Open it up for guesses. Oh, 19. Yeah, I should have. Sorry, that's my bad. Yep, 1900. Dylan Pettyjohn. My triplex is in 1880. So I own 90% of my portfolio is built. 80% of my portfolio is built in the 1800s. 80%. So I understand completely what you're talking about. Chip Howard, that was a joke. Yeah, I know it was. You know how much I hate those horrible Airbnbs. Completely gutted and redone though. Awesome. Yeah, that's what we do with most of our properties, Dylan. So I love that strategy. We usually take it to the studs, and then we figure it out from there. I'm hoping that this one isn't all the way to the studs. I'm hoping this one we can just look at it and go, you know what? It's actually in pretty decent shape. That's kind of what I remember about it, is it was in pretty good shape. And so we might get away with some of the electrical alterations. And then instead of sheetrocking the house for 20 grand, we can plaster the house for 10 because they can go in and fix the little holes and things like that. So that's the hope, but we'll see. We'll certainly find out. And again, it's all cute to make the budget kind of work like the numbers like we did. Okay, 217 is what we can take out. So that means we have a $64,000 budget. It's cute when those numbers work out, but the issue is that they might not work out. So we're targeting a $64,000 budget, but if we walk tomorrow and we see, oh, you know what, there's some bad beams in the basement. There's a crack in the foundation. There is, fill in the blank. If we see something big there, then that budget might need to go up. The key is that we bought it for 153. We're in pretty good shape. Robert Finley got quoted $2.80 square foot for $2.80 square foot for 7.25 speed base. It was built with FJP, which I think is pine. It is. Yep. I was quoted $160 a square foot for the one made of MDF a few months back. So you can still get which should I go with? I should look for the material speed base with another material. So if I know that LaValle Middleton, because you're local, LaValle Middleton, they can special order that in an FJP, which is finger jointed primed. And so that way it comes primed, but that's actual real wood. So we use the real wood one. We don't use the MDF one. The MDF gets wet if there's ever any moisture, if there's, don't love the MDF stuff. I really want it. And sometimes the nails, I just like using the real wood. So you should be able to get the real wood stuff for $1. I think it's about $1.49, about $1.49 a linear foot. But I would check with LaValle Middleton because you're in New Hampshire and they have a bunch of sites around. Rick Tavius. Rick, would you ever buy in Georgia, not Atlanta? No, because I heard there's this amazing new investor there that I don't want to have to compete with that guy. So no, I would not. Robert Fairley, best part, HD sells this stuff for $7 a square foot. What a ripoff. Oh, that's ridiculous. A square foot or a linear foot? LaValle Middleton was the one that quoted me 1.6 for the MDF. Ask them about the real wood. It's not 280. I think that's wrong. I think I would call, they sell real wood for cheaper. Yeah. It's the MDF is more expensive, believe it or not. I would call, and guys, don't goof around with this. Like, don't like call this guy and bother him. You know what, Robert? I just want to make sure that we don't have anybody in here that would do that. So send me an email. I'll respond back with the contact that you should call. He's the one who orders all of our stuff for us. He knows exactly what we order, and you can get your price from him. And then if that's something that you like, you can just say, hey, can you put that order in for the Manchester store or the one that's just north of Manchester? So we can do that for sure. So, yeah, but that 7.25 base. Hey, Matt, how's the jail project going? Nitin, it's going very well. I was just there today with a town official. It was a lot of fun. I got to show her the place. And storm's about to hit. If you're in Florida, you have my prayers. Yeah, guys, stay safe. Stay safe. Storm's about to hit. Yeah, Rick, have a good night, my man. Stay safe. The project is going really well. We were there with an official today. We are 95% done the rough electrical, and we're about 80% done the rough plumbing. And supposedly they're going to be here tomorrow and finishing that up. That's the hope. No, not Phil. Oh yeah. Yes, Phil. Yes. Yep. Phil. Yep. That's him. Yep. Definitely call Phil. Yeah. So you can call him and just verify it and say, hey, can you give me that part number? You can tell him, hey, it's the same thing Matt uses. Yeah. Yeah, guys, be safe. Man, tropical storms. I don't know how you guys do it. That is not a for me thing. You know how to contact him? Good. Yep. Talk to Phil and then he'll connect you up. You can always just ask him, hey, this is the stuff that Matt uses. We usually try and keep 20 to 30 sticks in stock. That way we're never slowing down. When we go and order it because we don't want it sitting on site. And usually we can get it within, about a week. But it is a special order. So, yeah, so that's exciting stuff. But yeah, that was the seriously biggest news ever I had to share with you guys. I appreciate y'all coming out to share that. Did you have any, before we close out tonight, because it's all very exciting, I actually have prep work to do for tomorrow, only because I have a meeting right after that. So I will do the live stream first thing in the morning, I expect. Then I have a meeting with the contractor there, and then I have to leave there and I have to go to my next appointment, and then I'm at my next appointment until about noon. And then hopefully I'll be done for the weekend, I hope. But any other questions that you guys have for me while you have me, because we're a little bit light on time, but I'm happy to answer anything. One question on doors, let me type. You got it. I will let you type. What time in the AM? Michelle, it's super early because it's going to be 8 a.m. on the East Coast. It's going to be 5 a.m. your time. But it will be recorded. It will be posted. So I just want, if you guys, the thing that I asked for, Michelle, I'm not sure if you were here for that. The only thing I asked of the group was, I'm happy to go through this and do this, but I want people that are active participants. And the idea is that you will watch it and ask questions about what you're seeing in that week's. No good question. Good luck. Excited to see this come together. Thanks, CJ. I'm super pumped to do this with you guys. So it'll be fun. And then you'll see that even after 22 years that I still make mistakes. I'm excited to see what the mistake is going to be this one. Because I don't know what the mistake is going to be. I hope it's not a big one. Here's the thing. Didn't do an inspection. Do we find something tomorrow that's oh no, it's possible. It's quite possible. Robert Fernley, 28 3/4. Okay, special order. Yep, 77 1/4. 77 1/4. Yep, special order. Should I special order or cut down a 3080? Don't cut down a 3080. It'll look like crap. Special order. Expensive door, but it'll look right. Was told it's hard to order that size door. They can make anything. It's just going to be an expensive door. Instead of being a couple $100 door, it's probably going to be a $400 door. So you can try and cut it down, but it's never going to look right. Just isn't. Yeah, it's not ever going to look right. Michelle Meyer, thank you so much. Actually, early works better, so the W-2 comes later. Awesome. hopefully not for that much longer. Luke Devine, what are your thoughts on investing in places on the Great Lakes? Thanks, Lumber. You're welcome. I don't know anything about the Great Lakes. I mean, I know that they're lakes. I know I travel to Chicago and Detroit a lot for work. So I know of them, but I don't know the real estate market there at all. What's really cool is where is there's somebody in the chat here that actually I believe is in the Detroit area. Give me just 1 second. Let me see if I can find him. Let's see. I know he's in Nick Ottenbacher. This guy right here. Nick Ottenbacher. Look him up. I'm pretty sure he's in the Great Lakes area. So look him up. That might be helpful to you. Nick, if you're still out there, which you probably aren't, there you go. But yeah, check it out. So yeah, Great Lakes. I mean, obviously there's a lot of opportunity for vacation rentals and things like that. But yeah, Gary, Indiana is on the Great Lakes right next to Chicago. Yeah, it is. Yep. Gary is. Yeah, sure. Except it's not actually Gary. There's a town north of Gary that's actually on the water. I forget what the name of it is. It's like Summer Heights or something like that. So it's Gary's right here, and then there's a town above it that's actually right on the water. It's not Gary. Gary's landlocked. But yeah. Robert Farinelli was told it's harder to order that size door. Yeah, it is, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely harder, for sure. The only problem is that unless I don't know your woodworking skills, it just sucks. We've had to cut down a door before. I mean, it was like a 5-hour project to make it perfectly right. And then because you have to worry about the dimensions of everything and rebuilding the frame, it's not a fun task. Not a fun task at all. Jason Ray. Matt, I'm having first move out with damage to the unit. Okay. Carpet was brand new 12 months ago. Seams got ripped up by dog and staining. Oh, how do you decide how much to clean versus charge renter closeout? Yeah. I would do two things. One is I would get a quote from a couple of different carpet cleaning companies. And two is I would get a quote from a couple of carpeting companies on how, the cost to restretch and redo the seams. And I think that all of that is fair play. If the carpet were 7 years old, you'd probably be in trouble. You're probably not going to get anything from a judge. Even if you sue them, you could charge for the cleaning, you could charge for some repair, but you're not going to get a whole wrong replacement. Jason, don't take any offense to this. This is why I never put carpet in freaking rentals. It sucks. And a lot of times we put it in, or I inherit a building with it. As soon as it's stained and smells, I don't even bother cleaning it. I rip it out and I put in some sort of LVP or wood flooring. So again, that's not to give you a hard time. That's only to say, this is why we do it the way that we do it. This is some of the lessons that you learn after 20 years. We don't do carpet because we always get screwed with carpet every single time without question. Somebody's there for 2 or 3 years. The carpet's toast. It's freaking toast. So we just don't bother with it anymore. So I would do 2 quotes from a cleaning company, 2 quotes from 2 different cleaning companies, and 2 quotes from 2 carpet companies, because they can restretch it and then they can redo the seam there in the middle as well. But you need the carpet cleaner. I don't do anything without both of those numbers, because you need the carpet cleaner to tell you, yeah, I guarantee I can get these stains out, number one. And if you can't, then what are we talking about? And you need the carpet guy to say, yeah, we can restretch this. I can redo your seam and it will look right. You need both of them to weigh in and both give you a yes. And then you see what the number is. And that number might be a couple $100 for the cleaning and $200 or $300 for the repair. So it's $500. And to replace the carpet might be $1,500. And in that particular case, I look at it and I go, all right, I mean, maybe I spend $500 this one time because it's still only a year old and I charge the tenant the $500. Or I just go, all right, I'm also going to get a quote for LVP, rip this stuff up, rip up the padding and get them to clean the floors underneath that, because it sat through the padding, I'm sure. But then I'm going to get a price for LVP and figure out what that's going to cost me too. Can I do that instead of spending $500 or $600 on redoing the carpet, can I spend $1,000 and have a brand new LVP floor where I never have to think about this again? That's kind of the way that I would evaluate it. Hopefully that's helpful. Wayne Wong, would we vote through polls or through the chat? Chat. We're going to do it through chat. Yep. Because the reason I won't do polls is because there's too many options as we're going through. There's going to be way too many options. So we're going to just say, hey, kind of rank top 3. And that way we can look at top 3 and I can easily total up the top 3 and I can say, all right, 50 people, 50 out of 100 people voting think that windows should be done. Now, I'm not going to always take your advice. I want to see what your tendencies are, because maybe the tendency is good. Maybe it's a bad one. Maybe everybody has a belief about something that we can shatter the belief based on proof, facts, and numbers. So that's what we want to spend our time on. That's how we're going to use this as a growing exercise. But you are going to have input. You are going to have input. If there's something that you see there and you say, hey, that seems kind of blank. Like, what if we did something special there? I can say, all right, let's kind of see where that is in the budget, because we're going to have to get quotes on everything. We're going to go through the process. What's it going to take to retrim the place? What's it going to take to do all brand new doors? What condition is the tub in? What do I need to do for plumbing? What do I need to do for electrical? Can I get away with, being able to do a bunch of the updated electrical and then just skim coat the walls? Am I going to have to rip all the way down to the studs? And what does that mean if I do studs? That means now I got to go do insulation, which is another massive cost. It could be $7,000 to re-insulate that house, because that house I know has blown in insulation in the walls. I don't love it. But why would I destroy $7,000 worth of value? Probably doesn't make sense to do that, right? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Why did that work like that? That's kind of weird that hid that. Yeah, Gary. Yeah, exactly. Robert Fairley. So good. That's funny. Summertime Santa. Robert Fairley. So is cutting a 30 by 80 to a 30 by 78 a bad idea? No, that you can get away with. The 27 and a quarter thing you can't get away with. Yeah, you can't get away with because now you're actually cutting the door. When you're doing a 78, you're still cutting frame, and you can take the door off the pins and you can rip, there's usually 1.5 inches at the bottom. So if you need to rip that and get 2 inches off of it, you can usually just rip the bottom of the door 1 inch and it doesn't throw off all of the specs. It doesn't make it look, most eyes can't pick up that it's 1 inch off over 78 inches. I can, because I've seen them and I've done them, and it bothers me, but that's one of the things you can look at. Detroit is actually a great area on Great Lakes. Yep. Yeah. So I would talk to Nick. I'm pretty sure he's Detroit. Oscar, see you guys tomorrow. Have to go. Good evening all. Thanks, Oscar. Thanks for coming and hanging out. CJ, they look like shikaka when you cut the long side. Exactly. If you trim off the bottom, they're usually okay. Exactly right. Yeah, and you got to go solid corridor when you're doing that, but that's without question, right? Michigan City, if you want to go to Lake Michigan in Indiana. Michigan City, that's the one that's on top of, that's one of the ones on top of Gary. Yeah. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate that. If you do cut the long side, cut the hinge side and rerouter the hinge spots. See, the problem is you have to do it equally. Otherwise the ratios are all thrown off. Then you have, if you're cutting 2 inches off and you cut 2 inches off this side and not any off of this side, you then have, and that's OCD for me kicking in. I want to scream when I look at that thing. I'm just like, no. We can't have a door that looks like that. Already ordered those. I have a table saw to help. Oh, sweet heavens. Post pictures. Dylan, what ml of LVP do you use? I've been going with the 20 mil. Didn't know if that was overkill. So Dylan, I actually like that you're using stronger product like that. What my test is for those products, because some are made better than others, I take my thumb and I push it on the corner. If I can snap off the tongue, and the tongue is what goes into the groove. So you have one board here. This has a groove, which is like a cutout under here. And then you have the tongue, which sticks out proud or past the edge of the LVP. When that gets clicked into there, right, now it's not supposed to move. But heavier people, heavier loads, too much heavy furniture, that can snap that tongue. And then when you do that, you start to see pieces rising. So what I always tell people is take your thumb, push it on the corner. And if you can snap it, you need to buy a better floor. So for me, I'm not caring so much about the overall about the thickness. I'm more focused on how good that tongue is and how strong that tongue is. Usually on the thicker stuff or on the well milled LVP stuff, that piece you can't break it off. You can grab it with pliers and snap it, but you can't break it off with your thumb. Or you could use a planer, also an option. Mrs. White Lady, carpets are such a pain. Yeah, they can be painful. What is your go-to paint color and brand? Chocolate Thunder. Love it. Go-to paint color is Stone Harbor Gray. It's a richer gray. It's not a light gray. Stone Harbor Gray, and then Ultra Pure White trim. And then I'm usually using some sort of an accent color somewhere, which is usually either a black or a red. Burgundy, not red. What is the brand of solid core doors that you like again? I like the Craftsman 3 made by Bosco. That's my favorite door. Yep, that's my favorite door. Dylan Pettyjohn, you're welcome. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Boomer, hey Don. Slab door would be easier to cut along the side. Yep, then you can cut the door handle on hinges. Exactly. See, the challenge is that I rather pay the extra $150 to have the factory do it and make it perfect so it matches everything else. All the dimensions match. That's what I'm far more focused on. So yeah, those tall or those shorter, skinnier doors are a pain. We have a lot of that stuff here in New England. But yeah, I'm using the Craftsman 3 Brosco. Excuse me, Brosco doors. Easy for me to say. Yeah, Boomer, you're exactly right. Yep, just an option. It totally is. I get why some people do it. I get it. For me, again, if it's a buy and hold, I never want to think about it again. It'll eat me up from the inside. And it's like every time I see the thing, I'll be like, oh man, I should have just spent the extra $150 because here's the thing. Was the labor cheaper? Nope. It wasn't cheaper to put in the other door. It was actually more expensive to put in the other door. Number one. So I'd like to get it right from the factory. And then my guys just literally, they have one side that's not trimmed. They slide it in, they shim it, they make sure it closes properly and it doesn't eek shut or eek open. And they shim everything properly. And then they have everything done, nailed, screwed, and then they're putting their piece in and then they're done. Well, I'm broke. So cutting. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. It's more just a time thing. It's more just a time thing, and a skill thing. There's a lot of people that don't have the skill to cut that door properly and it will look odd. So you can definitely do it. I would definitely look online, YouTube University, and check it out. Hey, how do you cut down a solid core door with middle panels? That's what I would look for one. Yep. $195 each for the moldeds. Yeah, that's a good price. Yep, that's a good price. Yeah, we have in this house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 doors in this house, I think. Just a guess. It's just like I said, I was only in there for 20 minutes, so we'll see how close that memory is to good. But yeah, I think there's 9 doors in this house, and so we'll spend $200 or $300 a door, and then install of those doors. So if usually you can carry a number of about 500 a door between material, install, and painting it. It's usually about $500 a door. So yeah, I expect we're gonna spend about $5,000 on that portion of doors, painting and labor. The trim, if we see that it's old painted trim, I'm going to show you exactly how we handle it. We're going to nail veneer to it, and we're then going to put a cap on it. You guys are going to get to see exactly how we do it, exactly how we do our projects. Kitchen, I'm going to replace. I don't like the kitchen there. It's ugly. And if I touch a house, it needs a kitchen. What else? Flooring. I think it's got some wood flooring. It's also got some linoleum. We're going to take a look at the linoleum, see if it's something that we can pull up, and see if we have wood underneath. Because if we do, we might do something with that. We also might say, We'll keep wood in the rest of the house, but we'll just do LVP right there in the kitchen. Heating system. We're gonna take a look at the heating system tomorrow, see how old that is. I want to say it's 25 or 30 years old, which if it's been properly cared for, not concerned about. But what we'll do is we'll spend a couple $100 getting guys to come in and clean it, take a look at it, get it up and running, make sure it's good. And then if he says, oh, this is wrong with it, that's wrong with it, we'll look at what the numbers are and see if it's something that we need to swap out. So we're going to do everything tomorrow. We're going to look at the roof. We're going to look at windows. We're going to look at doors. We're going to look at kitchen. We're going to look at floors. Tree work. This property needs tree work. I'm not thrilled about that because I hate spending money on trees, especially cutting them. But yeah, it needs tree work. So that's probably going to be, we're getting that number next week. I've already called the guy. I'm already on his calendar for next week. That's going to be part of next week's calendar. Because we'll be able to show, hey, this is what we're finding with some of these quotes. Robert Finelli, I go back and forth between Reed's Ferry and LaValley sometimes. Each has a better price, and something LaValley was $205. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for us, it's the $10 difference. We rather keep the relationship with them there because we get a lot more perks. It makes sense for us. Kyle Dorn, I hate trees, killed so many potential deals. Yeah, trees can be rough, especially the kind of tree. Like it can be a big tree. A lot of people don't understand that when your tree is all like fully bloomed at the top, guess what the root system looks like underneath? It's the same size. Think of a tree as a barbell, and the barbell is the tree, and the top of it is what you have for all your leaves and branches. And then if you were to flip it upside down, that's exactly what it looks like in the ground. So it's a barbell. It's your entire root system here. Then it's the tree, then it's all the leaves and branches there, or the canopy is what a lot of people will call that. So you can have that growing into sewer lines. You can have all that stuff. So admittedly, I couldn't do an inspection on this because I was in competition with some others. So there's a little bit of a risk there for the sewer line. Guy's been living there. So, and he wrote that there was no known issues. So I believe that there's no known issues. If there are, there's going to be a problem, but we'll have that line cameraed for sure. We'll have that line cameraed and just see. We'll see if it's as clear of a line as I hope it is. Robert says, but Reed's Ferries and Merrimack so more local. Yep. LaValley is better for my Keene place. Yeah. Get that for sure. Yep. I get that for sure. Cool. Well, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic night's sleep. I'm literally going to go prepare and start to kind of make my list of the things that I want to make sure that we cover tomorrow. Kyle Dorn, how do you overcome not beating yourself up if you missed something? Yeah, that stuff eats me up all the time. Not a money stress, more so a damn, I should be better. That's it. That's how you get better. So I'll miss stuff. Guys, I missed something on this house. I don't know what yet. I believe it needs a new roof. I believe it needs these trees trimmed back. I know that I need to side the garage. I know that the roof on the garage is fine. It's an ugly color. And so I'm going to probably, get some sort of a rubberized coating painted on it because I think the current color might be green. It's ugly. It's hideous. And it won't match the new roof that's going on the house. So the roof is going to be 7 G's and the siding of the garage is probably going to be, $4,000 or $5,000, and painting of that roof is probably going to be $1,000. The tree work is probably going to be $3,000, but that's what we're going to formulate over the next week or two as we work on this together. Is we're going to start to get quotes and everything. We're going to start to understand what does that really cost. I'm going to take measurements of the kitchen when I'm there tomorrow. When I take those measurements, it might be a second live stream. I haven't decided that yet. It depends on kind of how long I spend with the other guy. I know, Boomer. Don's like, you're killing our budget, Matt. I know, I'm crushing the budget right now. Because those are all things that aren't fun or sexy. They're all gross. But when it comes to resale, we're probably going to have to do a driveway there. I don't know how we're not going to do a driveway there. You want a driveway to go to your garage. You want that driveway. Maybe we just rip it up and grade it, but it's not that much more expensive after you grade it to just throw some nice hot top down and have a nice driveway that goes all the way to the garage. So yeah, we've got some stuff to look at, but what we do is as we go through it, we'll start to We'll start to make our list. Okay, we need to get a cabinet quote. We need to get flooring quote for this many square feet. We need to get a tub refinishing quote. We need to get an electrical quote for, okay, what are we seeing with the electrical? Is the panel older? Fine. Is the wire older? Not fine. I don't mind an older panel. I don't like the old cloth wiring. So then we can get somebody in there to take a look at that. We get the plumber to come in and take a look at the common sense REI. I know a cabinet guy. I know, thank God. But we'll look at cabinets. Now, in this particular neighborhood, granite is way overkill. We don't want granite countertops in this neighborhood. It's a $300,000 neighborhood. It's not a $600,000, $500,000 neighborhood. So we're not going to do granite countertops. We're going to do butcher block. So we're going to do a lumberjack package in the house. We're going to look at, adding veneer to trim. We're going to look at popping out the doors. Like I said, we're probably $5,000 indoors. We're going to dormer the roof in one place. I'm going to have to look at the numbers and see if it makes sense. Hot top. Yeah, hot top. I know it's called something different everywhere in the country. So paving a driveway, hot topping a driveway. Yeah, it's all those things. Cloth wiring. I think my market, you legally have to replace cloth wiring if you uncover it. Yep, probably. For us, we just don't even want the liability. So we're just going to make it easy, because when that house gets inspected by the new buyer, we want them to go, oh yeah, they took care of that stuff. So we want to see all Romex. And so if we need to get some stuff swapped out, we'll get the stuff swapped out. But that's the cool thing, so maybe, if I'm kind of rough budgeting it, again, we came up with a silly number of 64 just because it's a round number. Let's see if we can do it for 64. If what we're looking at, we say, we got to find a way to get it a little bit, we're going to need to do something that's a little bit bigger. I know of $30,000 worth of stuff I know I have to do a roof, have to do siding, have to do some electrical upgrades, have to do some plumbing upgrades, have to do a kitchen. And have to do the trees. The trees have to be, we have to cut some down altogether, and others we just have to trim back so they're not hanging over the roof causing damage. Boomer 64, unless they upgraded the wiring to more than likely has knob and tube. So it doesn't have knob and tube. I know that. It does have Romex for some of the house. It also has cloth as well. I think what they did was they did Romex for all the first floor stuff, and then they left all the second floor stuff cloth. But I just have to double check it. And so then what we likely can do, so there was no knob and tube that was active. I always look for that when I'm walking a property. So I know what the situation is with there. So we might be able to just run new lines to the second floor. And in that particular case, we just have to find where's the best way to run those. And that's very doable. That's very doable in this size of a house, because we can, create a small pilot hole underneath the outlet. And again, we're going to likely have to replaster. And that's okay. We can replaster, but we can bring them in for just some touch-up spots as opposed to having to replaster the entire house. But again, I don't know. I don't remember if any of the rooms were wallpapered. If any of them are wallpapered and we got to scrape them free, guess what? That's going to get expensive, because then you definitely have to replaster everything. We just replastered a house. It was like $12,000. It's expensive. Replaster. Robert Fairley, got to go. Thanks for the live. I'll be in my Nashville place in boot camp, so you have a better idea of the madness I'm attempting. Awesome. Very cool. Cool. Well, guys, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic evening of rest. I'm going to go upstairs and get an evening of rest. And then I will see you guys. I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the 8 a.m. hour. That's the expectation. It's all predicated. Well, we can actually walk the outside, and then just wait for the keys to walk the inside. So guys, I'm excited. If you're excited, hey guys, share this video with someone else, and your girlfriends and boyfriends don't count, or your spouses. Share it with somebody else. We want more people in this journey, because it's going to help more people understand what they should do when they're doing these projects. That's what we need to do. So I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Good night of rest. I'll see you at 8 a.m. tomorrow. As always, if you want great content, come and check out the Lumberjack Landlord. That's what we do. I bought a house. I can't believe I bought a house to do as a project for fun. You know how much I hate single families. I must love you guys a ton, which I do. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.